Trump and his puppet master, Elon Musk, have touted the idea of sending out a $5,000 stimulus check to each of the tax-paying Americans. Oh, that's right. If you don't pay taxes because, you're too poor and you don't make enough money that you can be taxed, then you wouldn't be getting enough of this money. Or in some cases, some people suggested every adult American. But I think, yes, every tax-paying American would be the ones who would be getting this money. The idea here is to give back 20% of all the money that has been saved by Doge and Elon Musk's cuts to the American government. The very, very murderous cuts to the American government. And yes, I do mean murderous because there have been dozens of people killed by their cuts to the air traffic controllers. Dozens of people murdered because they just wanted a few less employees so they could try to bust the unions that exist for air traffic controllers, which have been notoriously very strong ones. But these cuts are really just laying off employees and canceling contracts to multiple federal agencies. That's been really the core of all this, multiple federal agencies and cutting multiple employees, basically creating mass unemployment. Of course, what hasn't been considered has been any of the $18 billion that flows from the government to the pockets of Elon Musk through his SpaceX agency. Now, I'm guessing probably none of that has been considered for cutting whatsoever. Quite the opposite, in fact. In fact, it looks like Musk is on track to get another contract to help NASA bring down the International Space Station so that it can be replaced with a new one. The current one is many decades old and certainly does need to be replaced. And Musk's probably trying to get his mitts on that contract as well. At a speech in Miami Wednesday, Trump said he was considering dividing up the Doge savings. 20% goes to the American citizens and 20% goes to paying down the debt, he said. Now, economists and other people educated in this field, especially those particularly educated in law, know that there are several obstacles to this plan actually being carried out. You see, the Constitution gives Congress the power to tax and spend. It doesn't give the president the power to do that. So Trump doesn't actually have the power to just write a bunch of checks for the American people, to just whenever he just feels like doing it to whomever it is that he feels like it, because that would be considered, giving out bribes. In fact, there's a great deal of legality around Doge itself, and that most of, if not all of what it's done is not even legal. For example, the closing of USAID was not legal in any way, shape, or form. That does not mean that it wasn't a good thing to do. I'm just saying from a legal standpoint, it wasn't actually legal to do. You see, because Doge efforts have largely been focused on contracts and federal employees, which make up only a tiny fraction of the overall federal budget. The lion's share of the federal budget is actually military, which I'm pretty sure is not going to get touched in any way, shape, or form. The empire needs to continue as planned, so I'm pretty sure the military is going to be okay. But they have been focusing on the smaller pieces, which take up the least amount of the federal budget. According to its website, the agency has allegedly saved $55 billion thus far, but an independent analysis by the NPR only confirmed about $2 billion. This raises the question if Musk and Doge are being honest about their cuts to government spending. This seems unlikely, as Musk and Doge have already been caught lying about their cuts. They claim to have cut a $8 billion contract for ICE, but a look at the actual contract shows it's only for $8 million. In fact, the alleged $55 billion saved by Doge, according to their website, has almost zero documentation backing up their claim at all. So you'll forgive me if I go ahead and call them liars. Now, you'll have to forgive me, but some of the numbers on this whole Doge thing is kind of wonky. So if 20% of the Doge saving is going to every U.S. adult, the checks going out would be about $41. that's assuming that what Doge is saying that they have saved is actually true. If what NPR is reporting, their investigation into what Doge is claiming were actually true, it would actually be more around $1.50 per U.S. adult. So this 5,000 stimulus check wouldn't actually be coming from savings that Doge had made, but rather just reckless government spending. You know, the kind of thing that the people who support MAGA would call reckless spending if anyone else were to do it, but no doubt would be called a brilliant gambit if Trump or Elon Musk were to do it, because they like the free money when it's coming from the people they like. But when it's something that stimulates the economy coming from someone they don't like, it's just the free money and communism. Now, despite what people say, if this money were to go out at the level of which it would actually be from cuts and not just free money going out, it actually would not be inflationary, according to what many people would actually say. A lot of this money would be going out into the economy anyway, in terms of government spending into people's pockets, and then their household expenditures into contracts that would eventually go out into the economy anyway. So as long as it stayed actually within what was cut from Doge, it wouldn't be inflationary at all. The question is, why is this a plan now? Why all of a sudden is this like a huge thing that's being touted, or at least being teased by Elon Musk and Trump? Could it be because these cuts are now suddenly becoming very unpopular? That now a lot of people are losing their jobs. And in fact, Kansas City is now warning that they may be facing a recession in the city because of the amount of jobs they've lost because of the Doge cuts. That a lot of the people who are MAGAs, who thought they were going to own the libs by voting for Trump, have now lost their jobs and are angry about it, and now are writing letters appealing to Trump to get their job back, as if Trump actually cared one iota about them and their lives. So with all this unpopularity, people losing their jobs, and even a Fox News host coming out and asking that his friend get rehired because that he lost his job. You know, it was the guy from Fox and Friends who was saying all the really outrageous stuff, saying it was like gay to eat soup in public and stuff like that. Now his friend lost his job because of the cuts, and now is asking Trump for the guy to get his job back. It's a bribe. It's essentially a meaningless bribe to the public to get them on their side, because essentially they've got nothing else, because they've just destroyed the public. In fact, the same thing is going on here in Ontario. As we're heading into a provincial election, Premier Doug Ford has gone ahead and just given a $200 check to everybody in the province as a bribe to get people to vote for him, because all he's done is completely plunder the entire province, take all the state assets and sell them off to private companies, completely devastating us and completely fucking our entire healthcare system with cuts and privatizations. So you see, the walls are beginning to crack a little bit in terms of this whole Doge thing. And now they're starting to think that maybe it would be a good idea to bribe the public in order to get them on their side, because these cuts are starting to hurt the very people that were supporting Trump and Doge to begin with, to do this very thing. In other words, one of the very contradictions of capitalism are beginning to show its face inside the Trump administration. Thank you for watching. If you like this program, then please head over to my Patreon page and set up a monthly donation. It's your donations that keep this program running. Also, if you would like, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share in various social media.